This is Ed Guinn from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the guy behind the Peterbilt wheel, and you're listening to Without Your Head.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head on our 400th episode. This is Nasty Neil.
And that would make me terrible, Troy.
Mm-hmm. And joining us, this has been like years in the making. I met him a few years ago at Texas Frightmare, and now we're having both here on the show. Sal Hernandez and Jacob Grimm of STX Media.
Welcome.
How you doing, guys? How you guys doing?
Real good, thanks. How about you?
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely, you're right, Neil. I know we met a few years ago and been trying to connect ever since, and I think it was all kismet. We're now on your 400th episode, so what an honor for us.
Yeah. Very cool. And coming up in 2 weeks, again, is Texas Frightmare weekend, so we'll be running into you. And you guys have a movie screening in Texas. Let us know about it. What kind of movie are we in store for?
Well, it's been dubbed by reviewers as a sort of horror noir. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we necessarily wrote it that way, but that's just what it's turned out to be. It's basically about our main character, Charlie Reese, who is a disgraced police officer who is now a drunken detective who specializes in missing people. He gets coaxed into sort of this larger job of finding this sort of rich guy's sister, and he finds out very quickly that they've sort of been involved or abducted by a sort of group of depraved serial killers who've just sort of been preying on vulnerable women in the city. It just gets kind of...
and the rest is basically, can he survive this world he's entered into?
That's right.
Mm. So how long have you guys been going to Texas Frightmare?
Oh, man. My first one was before they even moved to where they are now. I forgot where they were just before this one, but that was my first one.
Yeah. I think Jacob, was 2011 and mine was 2012. Of course, I was, banging my head on the floor, wondering how I could miss this for so many years, being a big horror fan myself. So,
yeah. So, is this your second feature that's been featured at Texas Frightmare?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, we were just talking about it yesterday. This is it's our second feature, and also our second time playing Frightmare. We've been lucky enough for both of our features to screen at Texas Frightmare.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So where did the idea for Deviant Behavior come from?
Well, I actually had wrote this back in 2009 as a short, and this was before I really started knew what I was doing. I kind of just put together this 3-page sort of synopsis, like this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And I kind of knew Jacob through sort of these local filmmaker kind of meetups that we have here in Corpus Christi. They've died out since, but it's just early on. And he was working with another guy doing short films and whatnot and messing around. And I reached out to them and said, hey, I got this, this idea. Do you think you guys could shoot it? So I sent them the script, and we basically shot a 30-minute, really low quality film based off what when they see the full feature. It was really never released. I showed it a few places, some local showcases, and although the quality was low, the story still resonated with people, so I knew that I had something here. And after we, our mild success with Dreadtime Stories, which was our first feature, I wanted to do something a little smaller and kind of more focused, sort of a horror anthology, and Jacob immediately brought up, Deviant Behavior as being a great blueprint, so that's where it started.
How about you guys yourselves? How did STX Media begin? It
was 2012 officially.
It was probably like around 2011 when we kind of worked together, kind of like officially for the first time. We entered a kind of like a 48-hour film race as a team, and we finished the short, submitted it. We ended up winning best story for our for what we did, and we kind of discovered there that we work pretty well together. Maybe we should do this again, and we ended up making another short, which was called The Roommate, and that got some pretty good buzz, and that got us a little bit of notoriety around the festivals and stuff. So we kind of just took the next step from there and decided to kind of form this production company, and STX Media was born.
Yeah. And do you guys have like similar taste in horror movies, or do you ever like maybe one person's more into slashers or anything like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Sal is more of a slasher gore kind of guy, and I'm more of a kind of a slow burn suspense fan. So, but I think when you kind of mix those two together, that's what kind of helps us and helps us work so well together, is kind of blending those two together, those two sensibilities.
And you'll see that in Deviant Behavior. It's got a good mix of those two elements. And we're kind of an excellent complement. I think it's as far as the formula goes. He doesn't. We don't go too far on the gore, and we don't go too far on the dark and slow burning side. So like I said, the products usually speak for themselves. Anyways, when we do short films and little smaller projects between our features. So yeah. Jacob also is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
I was going to say, well, another contrast is Jacob, I always say, is more the artist than I am. I write, I produce, I take care of the business side also, and Jacob takes care of the cinematography and the equipment. And, what you see is what's kind of coming out of Jacob's head. And it's sort of an excellent compliment also. It's, chaos and order from both sides. And again, I think our contrast is an excellent formula, even for our success on the business side too, because he produces all our graphic art and posters and all that kind of stuff. So I've always just described our relationship as a perfect mix, and our egos never get in the way. We'll have some conflict on different ideas, but it's never been where we stomp our feet right away. We just sort of fight for what we believe in on certain projects and hash it out, and then we do what's best for the film. Because we make our films for horror fans. We're horror fans, and that's who we're making these for. We're not making them necessarily for ourselves. We enjoy making them, but this is for those people who are tired of seeing, remakes and rehashes. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the Texas horror scene like? Are there a lot of horror fans and a lot of people making movies and actors?
There's quite a bit of a acting, filmmaking culture here.
Yeah. In the as far as like the whole state, it's a pretty. Actually, kind of surprising. It's a pretty horror centric film base.
Mm-hmm.
It's like filmmaker base in Texas, but where we're from, it's a little smaller. But it doesn't stop us and making our stuff and finding actors or people that are interested in getting started in it. But yeah, it is pretty horror centric in Texas. You'll find a lot more horror fans around here than not. So
and when I do say Texas, then I thought, well, Texas isn't like a normal state. Like if I said Massachusetts, like anywhere in Massachusetts is kind of easy to get to. Where Texas, it's like it could be like a 6-hour drive from one place to another.
Oh, yeah. It's the whole of the country. So.
Right.
But no, I know. But we've got a chance to travel the state. Obviously, it's for different conventions and for different film festivals. Promoting or showing our work. So when we get the chance to spend a few days there, we always manage to meet a few filmmakers who are either aspiring or the staple in the area. In my mind, there are just a kind of a handful of kind of more prominent Texas filmmakers that are making horror films. But here locally in Corpus Christi, Texas, we have a very strong group of actors, aspiring actors too. So that helps us be successful also, because we don't have to drive a bunch of people in and stuff like that. We just we rely on the solid group of people that we have here locally. So, and actually you'll see in Deviant Behavior that the main characters are all local actors, with the exception to John Dugan, who plays Detective Murphy, and also Ed Guinn, who plays Al in our film. We actually were able to bring those guys in, and they did some feature role and cameo work. So that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Especially it would be for any horror fan, but especially for Texas to have Texas Chainsaw Massacre alumni in your movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was definitely for me, being a big Chainsaw fan, a huge opportunity just to fanboy out, So
right.
Yeah.
It's cool to see John in stuff, because I think John is a good actor.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He totally did something completely different with the part. I don't know necessarily that we had an idea. Clear who.
Yeah, no, the part as written was kind of just like your kind of like more like hard nosed kind of like cop character. I guess you would say more like a hard nosed chief of police or something, or captain. But when he came in and we started rehearsals and stuff with him. We got to rehearse a little bit before we shot when he came in and stuff, and he just completely took the role and made it his own, and definitely for the better. Like it was, it turned out way better than was written on the page, and he really just took it and ran with it. And I think he had a good time.
Yeah,
excellent.
He, like I said, he took it a different way that I never would have expected, but it was something that I'll never, like, in my mind, that's he's Detective Murphy now. He just recreated this part, and like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but you'll be pretty. I think one would be amazed at the quality of his acting in this particular part. So,
how important is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to either of you? The movie itself, because I don't know if that's a movie you guys grew up watching. It's something that inspired you to make movies.
For me being the Chainsaw fan, Jacob's more of a Halloween. That's his movie. But for me, Chainsaw was important because I want to do that. If that makes any sense. They, were able to pull together a good picture for a little amount of money, and Deviant Behavior was definitely done for a lot less money than most films are. We still call ourselves a no-budget film. But what they did when they pulled together, and then how Chainsaw changed sort of Americana, they changed the psyche as far as I'm concerned. I think that that film made people afraid to stop at the CD gas station in the middle of nowhere, or don't go down that dirt road.
It made people afraid of the country.
Right. Yeah, they made people
before the country and the small town was a safe place. The city was corrupt.
Right.
And the bad place. But now it's like, no, it's those nice little country people who you think will just like, they'll help you out whenever you get a flat tire. It's like, no, we'll eat you instead.
So yeah, it was definitely, again, I look at it from the artistic side and what it did psychologically to America as a whole, and then it's sort of a franchise success. Although some of the remakes and reactions, people have their opinions about them, so do I. But ultimately, you can't beat that it's lasted this long and still be this successful for the filmmakers.
Some Jacob said is actually you could also say about Halloween, instead of the country, it did that for the suburbs.
Yes, yeah. Halloween, like Sal was saying, Halloween was actually my movie that made me want to make movies. It was a movie I used to watch every year growing up on TV and stuff. Of course, it was always on, every October and stuff. So I'd always watch it. But it was the movie after when I got older and I learned about the making of it, that was kind of like, you know what, I could do that. I probably couldn't make a movie as good as Halloween right away, but it seemed like an accomplishable goal was to do a movie, because it really was like, hey, we'll just we're all friends and we'll just get together and we'll just make a movie. It's kind of the same spirit that they had with with Texas Chainsaw, but yeah, exactly. Halloween was, it did the same thing for like the quiet suburban streets. You never know who's behind that door or who's hiding around that, a hedge or something in the neighborhood.
Yeah, they could just seem like a totally normal kid, and bam, he's going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what are your thoughts on the new Halloween? Are you looking forward to it?
I am.
So I am too. Yeah.
I'm a little iffy about the new poster, but I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to wait until I see it in motion.
Yeah. Some people, you can't really make a conclusion about a movie when it's just, a thought. No one's even seen a trailer or anything yet, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I am. But no matter what, that's like an opening day, movie for me.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, Troy, have you seen the new poster? It just came out.
I haven't.
Oh, all right, it's up on the Without Your Head.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. On posters, who does your poster art?
I do. I make all of the posters and the graphics and all that stuff.
Oh, they're very good. I do all of the graphics Without Your Head, so I was really digging them. And I love the ones you did for some of the guests at the conventions. Those are great.
Oh yeah, Jacob's designed quite a few.
The banners.
Yeah, for the banners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm the asshole that goes, hey, make this look like that, and use make it sound purple, and then he's like, oh shit, he kicks it back to me and goes, no, move it that way, but that's the marketing part of me that kicks in. But I mean, yeah, Jacob, I mean, I'm make him blush all the time. I say he's an excellent artist, and that's fantastic work.
I will say I was very excited when we got our own Without Your Head cover.
Oh yeah, that was
very good.
I love that.
I was really excited when
I was like, we made it. We made it. You got our own banner. We're gonna say that thing,
Well, that makes me very, very, very proud. I did them for years for the show. Just I thought it helped the show stand out. And then over the years, people have said that they're like, hey, it's great that I actually got, and I'm kind of taken back by it. But I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. It's definitely to me. I've followed you even before. We met, and I listened to the show when I get a chance. And I mean, it's to see our faces and on the banner. Yeah. That was cool. Definitely. This was an exciting moment. Oh yeah. I can't tell you. It's beyond words just to be able to be on the show with you and to have that done. Like I said, it's definitely.
Well, thank you. Not to make this about me, but when you see Barbie Wild and Simon in Texas, their banners I designed, and I've heard I can't say who yet, but. There may be some other ones at Texas Frightmare, so we'll find out.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I saw a picture of Barbie's. I think she's on a show recently. I think I saw it in the back.
Yeah.
No, you do excellent work. So yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I really like the mask here in Deviant Behavior. Who designs the special effects and the makeup in your movies?
I do, Sal. It's I primarily kind of supervise and sort of do all the initial kind of work, and then I always bring it back to Jacob for to sign off on, because obviously it's, he knows what kind of lighting we're going to be using and that kind of stuff. So I know how much detail I really got to put in, because I learned a long time ago you can spend 2 hours on this one effect. And then when you get in there, the lights on the opposite side of the fucking room. So then you've just wasted 2 hours. So I always make sure that I work closely with Jacob on these effects. Plus, when I make something, it's never real for me. So I need someone else to look at it and go, yeah, that'll look good on camera. The mask itself was a interesting find. I was able to find this interesting. Pretty is what a lot of people have used. What word used to describe this mask. It's actually blank, and then we had one of our makeup assistants sort of apply the paint and makeup on the mask. And whenever our actor wore the mask and the wig and the whole getup. And then for anyone who doesn't know, our villain is transgender, a self-made transgender to be exact. Honey, whenever she puts on the costume, it's played by a man. So whenever he put on the costume, the crew would forget that it's a man, and you actually catch the crew checking him out, because the face is just so pretty. The face is just so pretty, and there's small breasts and whatever, and there's a bustier and stilettos, and you would catch the crew checking him out. And sometimes they would shake their heads and go, "I keep forgetting it's the dude," which is good, But it's interesting, people have seen screenings here and there, and we've actually got requests for copies of the mask. Like, I'm a mask collector, myself. Jacob got me into it a long time ago, and I collect sort of screen accurate masks. Texas Chainsaw, of course, is my set. Jacob has a whole set of Friday the 13th and Halloween. But to actually have that request of someone wanting a screen accurate mask, so I finally got a hold of the manufacturer, and we are going to be producing screen accurate replicas of the Honey mask. So we'll have those for anyone who likes the film and wants to buy a mask. So
yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually.
We might have some for Frightmare, maybe.
We might have some for Frightmare. We kind of got a late start with getting the manufacturing going. I'm considering bringing the masks. We have at least 2 hero masks and a stunt mask that we used for the film. Those are all in my office, and I'm considering bringing one just to show people. Like, hope maybe after the screening, people will be a little more excited to to get the DVD and Blu-ray when it comes out, and that'll be October 23rd.
Oh, cool.
All that stuff will come out. VOD kind of thing too.
Yeah. So you said you had some screenings already. What was some of the feedback like?
It's been pretty positive.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't really had a lot of like, oh, that sucks. But it's been pretty positive, and a lot of. I guess you kind of forget since we've lived with it for so long. Shooting it, writing it, putting it together, shooting it, and me having editing it and stuff. You kind of forget how it's powerful it can be to some people who have never seen it, and we always get people that are like, oh man, about the villain and the kills and just the movie as a whole, I guess, is very kind of unnerving to some people, and they come and tell us that, and it's kind of like, oh, great, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but it's kind of, it's kind of like really, like, oh, yeah, I guess it is, like, I guess I've seen it like a million times.
I think the average response or reply I get is, that's a fucked up movie, which is good, because that's what it's called, Deviant Behavior, right? There's not really a good person in this movie. And I remember someone wrote that as a negative review, and I was like, well, that was the point. No one is likable. Not likable that you hate them, but every single person in this movie has a problem. Like they're just going through a dark time. Even our villains, and it's just very moody. But overall, yeah, they've been positive reviews, and people just some people are a little more disturbed by some of the stuff going on than others. Me being a slasher tear 'em up kind of gore fan, this I wish there was more, but this is the medium that we to make it. And of course we fantasize about a sequel. If we can do one, and we definitely want to up the ante with the special effects. So yeah, we definitely got lucky with some of our special effects. We have a guy named Dave Nagy. I'm not sure if you know him. He does a lot of silicone work. So we've been able to partner up with him. He lives in New Jersey. And by the power of the interwebs, we've connected, and he's able to kind of produce some items for us. So, yeah, we just we rely on a lot of other networking areas to kind of help create higher quality products as far as the film goes. So,
yeah. So, what's the experience like when you're watching your own movie with an audience?
Oh. I guess it's different for both of us.
Yeah.
Me, I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate sitting in the audience. I'll go up there and do the intro and stuff, but then I'm always like, I'll sit in the back, and then I'll like probably leave and come back a couple of times, maybe within the first like 10 minutes, and then I'll kind of just settle in and just, if I see like people kind of okay, but I'm one of those, like, I cannot watch it with people. I mean, I have to like
Jacob. Yeah, Jacob definitely, like, he gets antsy, and then he has to get up and leave. Like, I get a drink, and he comes back, and he's I feel like I have to be there to watch how the audience is reacting. And I usually, I kind of, let him know how people act. And this particular film, people are reacting when I thought they were going to react. I mean, there's some humor in the film also, so they laugh when they're supposed to laugh, they jump when they're supposed to jump. Sometimes they jump when I didn't think they were going to jump, so it works. But yeah, it's not so unnerving for me, to sit in the audience and watch. Of course, afterwards, almost every screening we've gone to when we watch it with the people, with the crowd, they love it. They want to know when it's coming out, that kind of thing. And I remember when we actually made some Deviant Behavior T-shirts. And we just happened to have them, and we actually sold out. Yeah, right after a screening. It was pretty cool. Luckily we had our our swipe.
Yeah. Will you have any T-shirts at Frightmare?
Yeah, we have a small stock, so if you're gonna be there, just PM me like this size. I'll take care of you.
All right. Very cool. No, yeah, definitely would be interesting. So, how did the last screening go when you had Dreadtime Stories, which I really enjoyed? I was pleasantly surprised. It was. I'm always a big fan of anthologies, and this was a little before anthologies really started to make a comeback. And I enjoyed the whole movie. It's a great time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. It went good. It was very nerve-wracking because just us going in there as just fans of the convention in the first place.
Right.
So to be able to screen there, and it was it was a big deal because it was kind of like like last year we were sitting in the seats watching other people's movies, and now we're up in front of all of them showing them our movie. So it was a real big kind of thing, and it went very well, I would say.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about Frightmare, Neil, that's I remember you coming up specifically, Mm-hmm. And again, like, oh, Neil likes our movie. He did the whole thing. So, you walk out. That's cool, But yeah, I mean, Dreadtime Stories was definitely kind of our introduction to sort of feature filmmaking. Yeah. And we were really, to me, looking back, really, I don't know what to say the wrong word, maybe overextended ourselves a little bit, but, we definitely learned a lot from doing that shoot. We were doing, we only shoot on weekends. We actually have, we don't do this full time, not yet, but, so we shot that over probably the course of 9 to 10 months of weekends.
Almost a year, yeah.
Yeah, almost a year, and we shot, Saturdays and Sundays till, from morning to like 2 or 3 in the morning, sometimes 5. Luckily we had, crew and actors that were completely on board and passionate, just as passionate as we were.
It was a definite kind of learning as you go on feature filmmaking.
Right.
On that. But, it was fun though. Looking back now, it's fun.
And what's interesting about that is, like I said, once we finished it, when we finish it and we see how it turns out, we'll see what we're going to do with it. When we were satisfied with it, and then we started submitting to film festivals. And I knew a guy who knew a distributor kind of deal, And we were just poking around. We were just kind of saying, well, how does that work? We were just curious how it worked. And he asked, well, what do you mean, like Dreadtime Stories? And we were like, yeah, sure. Yeah, Dreadtime Stories. So he's like, send me a screener. Let me look at it. I'll look at it for the distributor. And sure enough, within a day, we got a contract, for distribution worldwide. Yeah. So we were like, wow.
Because we went in with the original idea that we would just have to self-distribute and just kind of put it out ourselves.
Yeah, we thought we were going to have to
some way.
Right. We thought we had to buy our own, stock of blank DVDs and Blu-rays and packaging and take them to the graphic art and have to print them out of the shop.
We'll pull them out of our trunk. And,
right. Pull them out of our trunk, Bob Shea style. We thought we'd have to go that route. But obviously in trying, which, we're super lucky that we had that opportunity. And we've had a really good relationship with our distributor. And when we were filming Deviant Behavior, Jacob sent just a trailer made from just what we had filmed, maybe just a few days, I think.
Yeah, it was like a few weekends.
Yeah, a few weekends.
It's like 4 days.
Right. So he sent something. He sent something made up to the distributor, and we got a contract next week. He wants.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we have a really good relationship with SGO.
Doing the second feature, was it easier than doing your first feature?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, it was kind of just as challenging. I'd say it was easier in that for the first time we were telling just kind of like a single narrative story instead of 10 short stories. So it was easier to kind of round up the production and kind of get it all started and stuff. But then also it was also like our first kind of regular straightforward feature, so we were still kind of learning new things as we went along. But I guess all in all, it was easier. It was a shorter shoot, so that was nice. But we did learn not to shoot till 4 a.m. anymore.
Yeah, no, we got and the key. Quickly we learned the key was organizing.
Yeah.
And I usually take up the production management side of it. So it was sort of just pre-planning, meeting, pre-production meeting over and over again, getting everything down as much as we could, getting all our props pre-ordered, getting all our, weapons prefabbed if they were going to end up going into somebody, that kind of thing, we definitely were kind of more efficient with our time with actors, especially when we brought in, John Dugan and Guinn. We only had John for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
We flew him in early Friday, then we shot him out Saturday and Sunday, and he left Monday. So we basically had, we had to be completely efficient with our time when it came down to those two guys. Otherwise, it was going to, cost us a little more money. So luckily, I had just recently sold my house, so I had a little bit of cash on hand, and that was what we actually used to make this film. Before, for Dreadtime Stories, we had no money, and I think we only spent money mostly on food to feed everybody because we weren't paying the actors, and most of the props used in Dreadtime Stories, most of the props were just kind of leftover Halloween decorations and costumes and stuff like that.
All the monsters were almost leftover Halloween costumes.
Yeah, like in Dreadtime Stories as a werewolf, that was actually my costume from Halloween like a year before, 2 years before we shot.
That's pretty awesome, though.
Sort of just repurposed it, and
did you create the stories, or did you create the stories around that? I have this werewolf costume, so let's write a werewolf story.
For that one, I actually know. I had written that one just independently. I just came up with the idea, and I just wrote it out as a short, never knowing if I'd ever make it. We'd ever make it, because it was always like, well, if we can't do the werewolf stuff good, we're not going to do it. I don't want to get laughed at. So, but then when we were trying to compile our stories on what we wanted to do for Dreadtime, I was like, well, I have this, and he was like, well, you know what, I do have a costume. So we kind of. He kind of took it out of the closet.
Yeah.
We kind of checked it out, and this good work.
Yeah.
So
we've actually got compliments on that, which I'm really I don't want to say surprised, because it's no American Werewolf in London. I know when Chip one they were going to compare the two, but we've actually got compliments on the transformation scene. Like it wasn't done poorly, but it left more imagination when we shot it. We actually got featured in this really, it was this obscure article that we just found out of nowhere saying best werewolves, independent, whatever, films. And we were in there. So that's pretty cool. We got a pretty cool, we get these guys have got good werewolf articles. So I was like, oh, cool. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We both contributed stories to Dreadtime Stories.
Mm-hmm. So, where can people find your stuff? I know the website here. It's stxmedia.net, and I just noticed that you have music videos up there. Are any of you guys in the bands that are featured up there?
Well, no. It's a local band.
You make the videos, yeah.
Right. We make the videos. Yeah. No. Well, actually, speaking of music videos, we actually just finished shooting one. We actually have an official soundtrack for Deviant Behavior. We have 7 original songs that were integrated into the film, and we're actually shooting the music videos to help promote the film when it comes out in October. That's another thing. Cool. Our introduction to our film has a song called "Dance with the Baby," and it's a sort of disco dance song while our villain, tortures and dismembers her first victim, or one of the first victims the audience sees. So it's sort of it's a little unnerving for some people, but they'll tell us they can't get that song out of their head. So once we heard that, I was like, oh, we got a hit.
That's very cool. The reason why I ask is the picture of Corrupticore. I thought that the main guy in the middle there looks a little bit like Sal.
I get that a lot. Yeah, he does a lot of crazy shit that I can't be responsible for. If you get my drift. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
We're two separate people, if you know what I mean. The character.
I got you. So, STX Media. What else do you have up on the website here, and what do you have working in the future?
Well, our website, we also manage a couple of horror celebs. Ed Guinn is, one of our more active clients. We help him with a lot of the PR stuff. And he'll actually be at Frightmare with us at our table, which is 162 right ticket. So he'll be there setting his chopskis and signing Deviant Behavior posters too. But yeah, we are right now focused on just sort of the huge sort of PR rollout we're going to have to promote Deviant Behavior. We're going to start filming Dreadtime Stories 2, the second volume.
Oh, cool.
But we had thought we needed to put that to the side to focus on all the PR for Deviant, because we are self-funding. We have to pull our own pockets, and we thought that if we kind of devote as much energy and resources that we have to just make Deviant, successful financially, that maybe the return can help us fund the next film. Yeah. Until we can actually, start attracting other.
So it looks like right now, like after we finish the PR and stuff, when we get that, and then probably towards the end of the year, we'll start up to do some pre-production work on our next feature.
Right.
So after, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just say after Texas Frightmare, where will Deviant Behavior go from there?
Deviant. Well, right now we're still set for an October 23rd release. So I don't know that we'll be showing it again till then.
I don't think we have any festivals lined up after Frightmare.
Well, I know we can't show it. I think it's 90 days after Frightmare.
Anyway,
per the terms of screening with Frightmare, which is perfectly understandable. So I think by the time we kind of hit that 90-day mark, we don't have anything kind of out there that's we're going to be screening. So we're probably going to go straight for the VOD and on demand or Blu-ray DVD October. We'll probably end up getting some sort of pre-sale, like we did with Dreadtime.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a pre-order period when it comes up, like on Amazon for pre-order and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So that's sort of been our focus for the past 6 months, and probably will be till about the end of summer. Just getting these music videos done. We have some promotional spots we're going to be sort of putting together to help.
Yeah, we have some Deviant promotional videos and new stuff to release.
Yeah.
Closer to the release of the movie on.
Right, sort of a character introduction, kind of little 30-second kind of spot. Sort of showcasing our main characters.
So, where did you film the movie?
We filmed it here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Yeah. Well, again, like I mentioned before, I just sold my house, and my girlfriend and I had bought a home together. And right when we moved in, the house that we originally were going to be filming in, the guy that owned it wasn't really returning phone calls, so I started to get really nervous. And so I convinced my girlfriend that we have to film it here. So we basically didn't get a chance to unpack, and we basically the production company took over the house. We turned what was supposed to be her sort of spare bedroom into the kill room. We have a guy here locally named Chad Karen. He does like haunted houses and stuff, and he's really great at doing sort of these faux walls. So when you watch, actually, since you saw Dreadtime Stories, you might remember in that room where for the Punishment the Werewolf film, it looks like he's in this sort of cinder block sort of holding cell. Those are actually foam, and that's actually what Chad had done for us. So he did the same thing for Deviant. He created a sort of a 12 by 12 room of these grimy, disgusting walls, because we couldn't run my new house, so we did that.
Right.
Basically, my home became the villain's home. So
and then as for all the other like exteriors and stuff, a lot of it was filmed downtown in Corpus. All of the buildings and stuff you see are all like because Corpus does have some nice downtown architecture for some of the for the buildings and stuff. So it was just actually a lot of it was all just downtown. It was all kind of central.
I think one exception is there's some like stock footage of a building, but I guess the intention was always to make sort of where Deviant Behavior takes place as sort of
a more like urban city environment,
a no place kind of urban environment.
So, what are both your backgrounds in making movies? Did you go to film school, or you guys self-taught?
I went to college it wasn't like, down here we didn't have like a program for film. The closest thing to it was kind of like television production. So I went to school for that, just because I was interested in film, and that was the closest I could get to doing film, plus staying here. And then after I graduated from that, it kind of just went from self-teaching myself the rest. Just learning as I went.
What kind of... Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask about the self-taught part, like, because it's come up recently in some interviews I've done that some people have, they learn a lot of stuff from actually listening to commentary tracks.
Yeah, well... I mean, me personally, I'm a big fan of making of documentaries, and the more in depth, the better. And I do listen to commentary tracks, and and I'm a big fan of just the process of making film. It doesn't really matter what film, just the process of making film, and the history of the history of Hollywood and all that stuff. So I was already kind of like, I guess, like well versed in doing that kind of stuff, and just kind of like watching the documentaries and stuff like some of my favorites. I love the documentaries that Rob Zombie puts out for his movies, like the one from Devil's Rejects to Halloween to 31. I've watched. I'll watch all those, like the 4-hour versions. The longer, the better. And so, I guess that did help just to kind of see how a set is run and what happens on a set, and just looking at light setups for what they do and how it comes out later as the finished product. So that was always really, really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you guys collect anything at the... Go on, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I'm not... Jacob has taught me a lot as far as the filmmaking side. I've always just more been a writer. I've always just written stuff, nothing organized, and I've always been a fan of film. The television was my babysitter, so I mean, I was really unfiltered with the type of content I was putting. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, now I just find myself sitting around thinking of like, how can I kill someone really cool and originally? Now I can do it now because I know how to I know how to do special effects, and I've met people over the years that just taught me stuff, and I don't know if you know, but our crew, it's a group of interns. These are all, sort of young people who are interested in making film, and who are interested in sort of joining our company at the ground floor, to help us build it up. So we have a group of gays. We actually our longest serving intern. He was 16 when he started with us. He actually got on the tail end of Dreadtime Stories, and he's almost 21 now, and he's basically our cinematographer.
Yeah, he is now.
And he's fantastic. I mean, Jacob taught him well. And I'm working on a group of makeup people that sort of I can kind of pass down everything that I've done so that, they can sort of take over that area and kind of bring me up to to supervise a bit more. But yeah, I mean, everything that I've done is self-taught, so it was always behind-the-scenes stuff with the makeup. I remember watching behind-the-scenes for like making a Dracula a long time ago, and I always was curious of how they do that, and just sort of more and more research and those behind-the-scenes stuff always help too. So no, I'm also I mentioned earlier about collecting stuff. Yeah, I'm weaning myself off, but yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of money on autographs at Frightmare.
Well, that's good though. Why not? Do you have any memories that really stick out from Texas Frightmare?
A good one for me, a really good one was because it all happened the very same year. It was the first year we screened there for Dreadtime. It was just one good one was just screening the actual moment when we went up there to introduce the film. And then when it was over, and everybody, including yourself, coming up to us later and telling us, like how much they liked it. But another good, that was also the same year that they had the Phantasm, a reunion. Mm-hmm. And I was in line to get, I took a poster, I wanted to get a poster signed, and I was in line for Don Costco, and I just kind of mentioned that we're screening here. And I mentioned because I remember watching the Phantasm making of, and they shot pretty much all on weekends too. Mostly because they could get their equipment longer if they rent it out on Friday and showed it on Saturday until Monday. So that's how they did it. And I was like, we did almost the exact same thing. We just filmed on weekends, and it was just kind of like, I remember he said like, well, that's great. And somebody said, remember, it's not about the first movie, it's about the fourth movie. You just always kind of just keep getting better and don't stop. Just keep going on that. So that was a really cool moment. So I would say like that one Frightmare was like the best one so far.
You mentioned thinking about cool kills. Without giving away, obviously, do you have some cool kills in Deviant Behavior?
I think so. We spend a lot of time fabricating large sort of hunting knives and axes, battle axes and stuff. So. Yeah, I think that they're pretty brutal, and then, like I said, based on how the audience reacts. As soon as someone gets hit with the axe, they go, "Oh," and I go, "Okay, cool, they believe it," So, no, we definitely have some cool stuff in Deviant Behavior, and definitely showcases our villain's brutality. She's very much a jealous woman, and. The dynamic, just and that's not giving too much, is it's a couple basically, not necessarily a couple, but Walter basically uses that sort of uses Honey to his advantage. He's not a killer, but he likes to watch, if that makes any sense. So he likes, and Honey's actually not just some sort of mindless killing machine. Honey is very intelligent. She rigs up all the cameras around the house and records her tortures and films and edits them together and produces them for Walter for his own pleasure. It's an interesting twisted dynamic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It sounds very good. Do you know what day it screens at Frightmare? Yes,
it'll be the 4th at midnight. Technically Saturday morning, but it's midnight on Friday.
So, that's perfect time. Yeah.
Yeah. We got that time slot. It was we were floored. I was like, that's perfect. Midnight screening on an opening day for Frightmare. It's amazing. And I know some people will be going to the Friday the 13th party, but I noticed that it ends a little earlier than a movie ends, so they can come on over and finish up the film, and then wish they saw the rest of it, and then get it watching on demand or something, October.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. It's coming out in October. It's not, people listen to this and watch horror movies all the time, but other more normal people will be in the Halloween season and want to check out some new horror films.
Oh yeah, no. From a marketing perspective, it was ideal just because people are starting to get in the spirit early on, and you're right, they are looking for just a horror flick to watch, and and I think we'll be able to entice them with some of our music videos and promotional items.
Yeah, definitely. We're really happy when our distributor gave us our date, and found out when it was, so we're like, that worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned Ed Guinn has a cameo in the movie, and we'll have Ed Guinn on the show next week. And I've heard he's a good storyteller, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
And then for people in Texas, they could come out and meet the man.
Oh yeah, he's like we've got to spend a lot of time with him over the last few years, and he's just a delight, and he's great to the fans, and he's appreciative of their love of the film, and we work closely with him on some of the. He has he has his own sort of store for Black Maria merchandise. Jacob actually designed his T-shirt. Oh, actually, Jacob designed a lot of this stuff. Yeah, aside from the wrench, because Ed sells a replica wrench that looks, replica from the film. That was carved by another gentleman based off screenshots and stuff like that. So he sells those, and then he also, like I said, Jacob. Develops a lot of the graphic art for the merchandising stuff, T-shirts and magnets. We have some magnets coming out, and some other hats, embroidered trucker hats. We just came up with those. So, like I said, we work with Ed a lot closely, very closely, on some of his sort of Black Maria merchandise. And like I said, he's just a delight to be around. Like I said, we could talk for hours if we could. He's just, he is a great story.
Yeah, I'm actually looking on the site now, and I really like the Black Maria, both the trucker cap and the T-shirt. It's really cool design.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And so, how did you come into contact with Ed?
We actually, I had befriended Terry McMinn at a show in San Antonio, and we kind of just got connected. And then my girlfriend and I took Terry up to the Kingsland, where the original house is. I don't know if you know, but the original house used in Chainsaw was moved from Round Rock to Kingsland, Texas, and is now a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
A bed and breakfast, yeah. So I had reached out to Terry, and I said, my girlfriend, I would like to take you to lunch if they're interested, and she agreed, which I was sort of shocked at. And anyway, we just became friends, and at the about a couple of years later, maybe a year later, I think I reached out to Ed and I asked, and I said, hey, if you don't have someone sort of repping you, we're kind of doing it for Terry. Would you be interested? And he got back to us and said, yeah, let's give it a shot. So, again, by the power of the interwebs, I call it that because I'm getting old.
I say that often as well.
Yeah, or that. We just connected with him, and like I said, we booked a few shows for him, and like I said, we've helped out merchandising, and he's like I said, he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. That must be pretty cool for him, because he didn't really do like conventions until the last few years. I don't think.
Yeah, he didn't do. He didn't do anything until about 2012, and really, I mean, he really wasn't really connected with the film after he did his part. And there's a whole other life that he had, and he was doing a film called Butcher Boys, which was actually written by Kim Hinkle, and they actually brought back a lot of the cast to do cameos, and he had his part, and they had mentioned to him. You should go to these conventions. And he's like, what are these conventions? And he's like, well, these people want to meet you. So then he connected with Lloyd from Frightmare, and Lloyd was actually the one who helped him get all the screenshots for his glossies.
Oh, nice.
Because Lloyd knew that he was kind of a newbie at it, and I think that was the last time Gunnar was at Frightmare. I think actually that was my first Frightmare, because I remember I was looking for him and I couldn't find him, and I remember meeting Gunnar for the first time there, and Ed Neal there, And it was kind of funny. He was the one I never got because I wasn't staying at the hotel. I was staying at a smaller hotel about a mile away, but I might as well have been a million miles away. So I never got a chance to meet him. So I thought that was kind of ironic that he's kind of one of our, more closely working clients.
Yeah. That's too bad though. You didn't get to meet him. I always thought he was a very good guy. So how can people follow? I know you got the website. How can people follow you guys, on social media?
Well, our main source of getting updates out is our Facebook page. So we try to put stuff out there weekly, and we don't just talk about ourselves all the time. We try to share other information that's related, not unrelated. But yeah, STX Media on Facebook. You can always find us there. We do our best to entertain the people that follow us, and we also, like to put out updates on our film and, when they can watch it or when a screening might happen. So yeah, that's our primary form. We're trying to branch out. It's just, as you know, PR is a huge job. So, and I actually work during the day, so it's hard for me to kind of break away and do a lot of that. But I'm actually working with a university locally. University has a PR class. I'm hoping to steal away one of their classes come and work for me. So yeah.
Right, you teach them how to work for you. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm teaching you stuff. You're in school again.
Right. Oddly enough, the person who made our Facebook page was years ago was a listener to the show, Andrew Vaughn, and he was just like, oh, there's this new thing in Facebook. I think you guys should have and I was like, I don't really care. And he's like, well, do you care if I make you one? I was like, yeah, go ahead, it's fine.
I'll be damned. Yeah, I'm starting to say that a lot. Like our interns are a lot younger than we are, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm learning from them. I'm getting old, One shameless plug, if I may.
Of course.
We've just been featured in a book called Texas Schlock, written by Brett McCormick, and it's out right now. You can actually go to our Facebook page, and we have the link up there where you can purchase it. But that was a huge thing for us too. This guy that we never knew reached out to us, says, "I've heard about you guys, that you're making no budget films in Texas. I'm writing a book about independent filmmakers in Texas. Would you send me your stuff?" So we sent him Deviant Behavior. We sent him Dreadtime Stories to watch. Well, I didn't know what schlock meant at the time, but he came back and said, he goes, "I don't know that you want to be part of this book." And we're like, "Well, why?" He's like, "Well, this is about schlock." And I looked at what schlock meant. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay." He's like, "You're kind of doing what everyone else is doing." And he wasn't taking a dig at anybody. It was just, he knew that we could sort of stood out. And he said, you're doing the same thing, but the quality of the work you're putting up there is actually pretty good. So it's not really schlocky. And I go, "Well, that's good to know." But then he said, "Well, how about, I put you in a section where I kind of say that, and we're kind of like, well, yeah, we can live with that. It's not a huge deal, So, a year or two later, here it is. It comes out, and, we're featured in this book. So for us to have, done that, to be, I'm thinking of it too much, but to be part of literary history as filmmakers.
It's cool just to be in a book.
Yeah, cool. And there's some reputable people in there. And I'm kind of like, wow, we're kind of amongst, these people.
Yeah. Mentioned in a breath, it's like, they're low budget, but they're like on their way up. Like they're trying to move on up from what they're doing. But
and we're always trying to improve. That's always our thing. We always are trying to learn from mistakes and figure out how to do things better. And we are increasingly getting better and better. In fact, we just we're going to be in Beaumont this weekend at the Boomtown Film and Music Festival. And they asked us to come up and be film panelists, and we're going to be guests. They're going to put us up and all that good stuff. So that's pretty cool. Well, we made a specific short for them called Pop, and it's about a 9-minute short that we shot just for that film festival. And again, we've just improved, the quality and the shots and the angles and lighting. We just keep getting better and better. But I mean, the past 2 years have been phenomenal for us. Just success after success, getting distribution again, the attention and the positive reviews, we're on Without Your Head now, we're in a book, we're going to Frightmare again with a movie. I mean, things are going great, and again, ultimately, for me, what it means is that, that we're going to create content for horror fans. I know as a horror fan, I'm just sort of wanting something new and fresh.
Yeah.
Whenever I can get it, and that's what I want to provide. As a filmmaker, is content and make them happy and give them what they want for that hour and a half. So I think as long as we keep trying to do that, I think we'll continue to be successful. Like I said, we're still on the ground floor with our company, but my dream is to be a self-funding production company with our very own studio here in Corpus Christi. So, that's my goal for a company.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been great to talk to you, and I hope you guys have continued success. I'm really looking forward to seeing Deviant Behavior, and then talking to you guys again after I see it, and I'll tell you guys what I think.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a drink for 2 or 5.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for having us on, man. I really do appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to this. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
This is Brie Olson, and you're listening to Without Your Head.